welcome to another segment of the Southwest Spotlight. I'm your host, Janice Hernandez. In just a few days, the district will enter phase 1 of its re-entry plan. And with more information on that, we have our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Lloyd Verstuyft. Welcome.
Good morning, Janice. How are you?
Good morning. So Dr. Verstuyft, tell us a little bit about what this means for the district.
So we started our plan in the beginning to be able to offer, after the first 3 weeks of school of going 100% virtual, we wanted to be able to offer our families, our students, our community choice to choose face-to-face or to choose to stay in a remote environment. And so during the summertime, we had over 60 to 80 people working on our plan that we call Your Choice, Our Commitment. And in that plan, we're able to serve those families who choose face-to-face, and we're able to serve those families and students who choose to stay remote. And what we've, working with TEA, our Texas Education Agency, we do have a plan in our district to start with those first families. Up to about 25 to 26, 27% of our families chose face-to-face, and that's representative in all of our 18 campuses throughout the school district. And we know that families make decisions throughout the course of the school year. And so we set our second phase, what we call phase 2, that will be fully implemented October the 19th of 2020 this school year. And we had that application window open for a 2-week period that just closed this past Friday. And so we know from the applications that we received from our community, just right under 50% of our elementary students have chosen to come back in phase 2 in a face-to-face environment, and just right under 40% of our secondary students have chosen to come back face-to-face starting October 19th. We're going to matriculate in, so it's not just this one big inclusion of face-to-face students. So our campuses are working with their families to bring those students back onto campus. Our teachers are ready to receive those students. PPE and social distance where we can is still extremely important. We know that COVID is not something that's far away from us. We know it's in our backyard, and we know we're contending with some of those events and doing contact tracing. You're going to hear more from our Director of Health Services about that a little bit later in this broadcast. But we wanted to come out to our community, to our families, and to our parents about what that looks like, what numbers are asking to come back face-to-face, and there will be another choice later on in the school year.
And Dr. Verstuyft, that choice is very important because, again, as you mentioned, we are in unprecedented times, so things can change in a few months in the 9-week period. So we do have a reentry plan in place. So tell us a little bit about the option in the next couple of weeks, families being able to choose going back to remote or on campus, worst case.
Yeah, it's a great question. So in our Your Choice, Our Commitment, our 5-point reentry plan, we do have aspects of that plan to understand that the COVID landscape in Bexar County, San Antonio may change over time. As it changes, we know that our families make decisions on kind of that big metric landscape data. And so we want to support that. And so at any point in time, whether our families who chose in phase 1 or who are now choosing in phase 2 to participate in face-to-face learning venues, if they choose to go remote at any time, we want to support those families definitely. We know that our families will change decisions throughout the course of this school year. I think we're going to be going through either all year in some format like this, or throughout most of the school year in some format like this. We really don't know what the future holds in the COVID data metrics, but we do know that we are able to mitigate using our mitigation protocols and doing contact tracing, that we feel we're able to offer, along with our PPE and our planning, safe environments for our students to come to school. But we also know that our parents are going to change their mind in some aspect throughout the school year. So we try to set those 9-week intervals throughout the whole year so that our families who have chosen remote, if they now want to choose face-to-face, they'll get to make that decision later on as well. But we're trying to remain fluid and trying to keep some continuity so that our students are in their best learning environment. Whether they choose remote venue or they choose a face-to-face venue, we want there to be highly effective teaching and highly effective learning taking place with all of our students.
That's right, Dr. Verstuyft. And you did mention, we are in an environment where things are a bit unstable. But one thing that we know for sure is that we continue to have opportunities for our students, opportunities especially for our seniors. And we do want to talk about one big opportunity that we have coming up.
Absolutely. And so we know that we are in an unprecedented time. And we are conducting school in unprecedented ways. But the idea is we're still conducting school. We still expect learning to happen. We still expect teaching to happen. We still expect our students who have been part of our system or just joining our system, but who in the near future will matriculate to post-high school opportunities. We're hoping that our students have a plan. So we have a couple of things working. We have our choices beyond the bell. And that is an entity that we started a few years back where we have one-on-one conversations, district staff. We split up all of our seniors and our juniors, and we have one-on-one conversations to make sure we're talking about what's your plan for the future. If that's your plan, have you done X, have you done Y, have you done Z? So that we know for a fact that every one of our students, as we learn from our counselors what to do in those conversations, we know for a fact that we had a face-to-face, and it will be virtual this year, or this December meeting will be virtual. And we also have coming up on October the 16th, our second year in a founding school district, and our two founding graduating high schools in Southwest Legacy and Southwest High School. We have the Alamo Promise, which is one of the greatest things that's ever happened in San Antonio and Bexar County, where we remove the financial obstacle out of the picture for our students and a last dollar scholarship opportunity. And all our students, our senior students have to do on October 16th is to complete their FAFSA, their Applied Texas, and to save their seat with one of the 5 Alamo Community College colleges. And if they do that, it's a guarantee that our students get to go to college tuition free and get a workforce certificate or work towards an associate's degree without any tuition or fees being associated to our students. We started this last year. We've seen a great percentage of our students choosing to go to college. We know our seniors are in a very unprecedented year this year, and we want to help our students because we know one thing for sure is we will get to the other side of this pandemic. And when we do, we want to make sure that our students are on that trajectory to live a great quality of life because of the choices they made. We'll work with our families, we'll work with our community, and we'll definitely work with our students to make sure that we embrace those choices and we put support around them.
Well, a lot of great things happening here at Southwest. Dr. Verstuyft, thank you.
Hey, we are Southwest. Thank you.
Well, and as Dr. Verstuyft mentioned, we are moving into phase 1. And what does that mean for our families as far as health and safety? Up next, we have our Director of Health Services, Valerie Maldonado, who will answer some of those questions. Welcome, Valerie.
Thanks for having me, Janice.
So, Valerie, tell me a little bit about what phase 1 means for our families.
So, not much really has changed. We still want to make sure that we are implementing all of the safety measures that we have in place, like mask wearing, making sure that our students come to school with their masks on and ready to go, covering their mouth and their nose, worn appropriately and consistently throughout the day, social distancing whenever and wherever we can. We want to make sure that we allow for that in order to, again, just provide a safe environment as feasible. We want to make sure that our students do not come to school sick. Parents, it's super, super important to screen your kids every single day before coming to school, before getting on the bus, before dropping them off, to make sure, again, that we provide as safe an environment as possible. That means screening your kids for fever, for cough, shortness of breath, sore throat, congestion, runny nose, loss of taste or smell, diarrhea, vomiting, any of those symptoms, and you can find the complete list online on our website. Any of those symptoms, please keep your children at home and contact your school nurse for further guidance.
So Valerie, tell us, you talked a little bit about self-screening and the importance of that. That needs to be done on a daily basis right before a student comes back to the campus.
Absolutely. That should be done every single day by our students, our parents, and our staff, and any visitors who come onto our campuses.
Valerie, you also talked about mask wearing. What again is the appropriate way to wear a mask?
So all masks should be worn covering your nose and your mouth, and it should fit comfortably on the sides of your face. There shouldn't be any gaps. And so again, that's super important. That's definitely something that we look at when contact tracing. And as Dr. Verstuyft mentioned, when we have a case on campus, we do initiate contact tracing, and that means identifying anybody who has been within 6 feet for 15 minutes or longer of a positive case. And we do look at whether or not masks are being worn appropriately and consistently to identify those people. Now, if your child is identified as a close contact, we will be contacting you and explaining more about that. But again, masks are super important with that, and making sure that we keep as safe as possible, and making sure that, again, anybody around you is also wearing masks appropriately and consistently. That goes for everybody.
Valerie, thank you so much for being on our segment, and I want to thank your team of nurses for all they do and for keeping our staff and students safe.
Thank you, Janice. Thanks for having me.
And for more information, visit our website at www.swisd.net. Thank you for watching the Southwest Spotlight.